All right, guys, so 12 for today's factoring trinomials, day 2. Most of what we do today is exactly what we did yesterday, but there are a couple little new things, but we can use the same process. So let's go ahead and look at the first one. S squared minus 13s minus 30. The first thing you need to do is make sure it's in the right order, which it is, kind of like the ax squared, the bx, and then the c. So my a here is 1, my b is negative 13, my c is negative 30. So the first thing I need to do is I need to know what the sum needs to be, which is the b value, and my b value is negative 13. I need to know what my product needs to be. Well, that's a times c. A is 1, c is negative 30, so it needs to be negative 30. So we're going to take the negative 30 and let's break it apart. I need two numbers that multiply together to give me negative 30 and add together to give me negative 13. So let's go ahead and start. We have 1 and 30. Now those are 29 units apart. There's no way we're going to get negative 13 out of them no matter which one's negative. The next one, 2 and 15. Now if I think about 2 and 15, if I add them together and they're positive, well that's 17, but if I subtracted them I could get 13. So let's try those. I'm going to try negative 2 plus 15 first. And that gives me positive 13, so that's not right. So let's try 2 plus negative 15. And that does give me negative 13. So there are my answers. So I'm going to open up my parentheses. I have s for my variable, so I'm going to plug that in. And then I take the 2 plus 2 here, and then minus 15 right here. Now the last thing we need to do is divide everything by a. Now luckily for us, on this one, the a equals 1. So now I divide both of these by 1, nothing will change. So my answer is s plus 2, s minus 15. And again, we could distribute that and see if we're correct, which we should be. Let's go to number 2. Excuse me. I have 5q squared minus 3q plus 5. So again, the first thing you need to make sure is that it's written in the right order. I have my squared first, my just q second, and my number last. So my a, b, and c are 5, negative 3, and 5. My b gives me what I need to have for my sum, which is negative 3. And a times b gives me my product, which is 5 times 5, which is 25. So that's not a times b, that's a times c. So now I need to break apart 25. Well, first 1 and 25. Since everything's positive, or since the 3 is negative, I need probably one of them to be negative, but negative 1 plus 25, 1 plus negative 25, not going to work, okay? Let's go to the next one. 2 won't work, 3 won't work, 4 won't work, 5 will work with 5. But again, it doesn't matter what I do, there's no combination of 5s and negative 5s that will give me negative 3. There are no more factors of 25, that's all I can do. So since nothing works to give me negative 3, that means my answer is prime. If you can't find numbers over here that add together to give you numbers over here, and you better check first, because if you go through too fast, you're going to end up messing it up, then the answer is that they are prime. And that's all you have to show, okay? Let's go on to the next one. Number 3, 2r squared plus 3r minus 14. It is in the right order. I have my variable squared, then my variable, then my number. So first I need to find the sum, which is our b value, which is 3. And then I need to find our product, which is a times c, which in this case is 2 times negative 14, which is negative 28. So let's go ahead and break that apart. I have negative 28. So one of them is going to at least have to be negative. I can start with 1 and 28, but even if one of those was negative, I'm never going to get those to come together to give me 3. 2 and 14, again, really far apart, not going to work to give me 3, no matter what I make negative. 3 will not go into 28. 4 will, and it'll be times 7. Now, 4 and 7, I think I might be able to get 3 out of that. One of them is going to have to be negative, so let's try negative 4 first. Negative 4 plus 7 does give me 3, so there's my answer. So I open up my parentheses, and I put an r at the beginning. I got negative 4 and positive 7, so minus 4 here, plus 7 there. Now, I have to do my division, but this time a isn't 1, A is 2, okay? So I need to divide 4 by 2 and 7 by 2. Now, we need to simplify those as much as we can. So in the first one, I have r minus 4 divided by 2 simplifies to just 2. So no denominator left to swing. Now I have r plus 7 over 2. Well, that is simplified as far as it can go, so I have to swing my 2 in front of the r. Let me erase that there. So I have to swing my 2 in front of my r, so I get 2r plus 7. Again, it doesn't matter what order. You could have 2r plus 7, then r minus 2. It's the same thing. Let's look at number 4. Need to make sure it's in the right order, and it is. I need to find my sum, which is my b value, negative 19. I need to find my product, which is a times c. 10 times 7 is 70. So let's break apart our 70. 1 and 70, absolutely not going to work. There's no way to add those or subtract those to get 70. I can use 2 and 35, but again, it's getting pretty far up there. I mean, there's a big distance between those two. It's not going to work either. 3 and 4 won't go into 70, but 5 will. It'll go in 14 times. Now, if I look there, 5 plus 14 is 19, but that's not what I wanted. If I want negative 19, I need to make it negative 5 plus negative 14, and that is what I want. So there are my answers. So let's open up our parentheses. We're using y's this time. Our answers we found were minus 5 and minus 14. Now I need to go back and do my division. A this time equals 10. So I'm going to divide negative 5 by 10 and negative 14 by 10. Now the next step, I need to simplify any of those fractions I can. Negative 5 over 10 is really negative 1/2. And then I have negative 14 over 10. I can take a 2 out of both, and I get minus 7 over 5. Now to finish this up, I can swing my denominators in front of my y values and rewrite it to have my final answer. I have 2y minus 1 and 5y minus 7. So watch your division, guys, and that shouldn't be too much of a challenge. Now let's flip over to the back page. We've got a couple of different problems. These have multiple variables, but everything we've been doing will still work. So let's look at number 5. I have 4y squared plus 4xy minus 3x squared. Now this is already in order. It starts off with a y squared, then I have a y in the second term and no y in the third. So don't let that x confuse you, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing I did last time. I need to find my sum. Well, my b is 4. I also need to find my product, which is a times c. 4 times negative 3 gives me negative 12. So I need two things that come together to give me 4, multiply together to give me negative 12. So let's break apart our negative 12. I could have 1 and 12, but that's not going to help me get 4. I could have 2 and 6. Now that one seems a little closer. There is a difference of 4 involved there. I know one of them is going to have to be negative, so let's try negative 2 first. Negative 2 plus 6 does equal 4, so negative 2 and 6 are our answers. Now, when you're working a problem like this, we always open up our parentheses with that first variable, the y. But since we have an x squared at the end, I'm going to put an x at the end of both also. Now all I'm going to do with my answers is put them in front of those x's. So y minus 2x, y plus 6x. Now I'm not done because I need to check my division. In this one, a equals 4. So I'm going to divide each of these by 4. Now I can simplify. I end up with y minus 1/2 x and y plus 3 over 2 x. Now I can do my swing with the denominators, and I can rewrite it with the correct answer. So I have 2y minus 1x, or just x, and over here I have 2y plus 3x. And there's my answer. Now, those seem a lot harder, but don't let those other variables bother you. Really, you could work it with just at the y, just get rid of the x's, and put those in on your second terms in both of those pieces. Let's look at number 6, same business. U squared plus 2uv plus v squared. So again, I need my sum, which is b, and it's 2. And I need my product, which is a times c. 1 times 1 gives me 1. Now that's a pretty easy one because the only thing times itself that'll give me 1 is 1 times 1. And luckily 1 plus 1 equals 2. So there's our answer. So I'm going to put my u first, but I'm going to put my v second. And then I'm going to put the 1's in front of the v's. They're both plus. Now if you look, our a in this one, guys, is negative or is positive 1. If I divide by a positive 1, nothing changes, okay? So you may not have to write what I just wrote. Your answer is u plus v times u plus v. Now let's do number 7, the last one. First, I need my sum, which is negative 3, my b value. I need my product, a times c, which is 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. So let's break up the negative 10 and see what we can get. Well, one of them is going to have to be negative. I have 1 and 10. If either of them were negative, still not going to give me negative 3. Then I have 2 and 5, which there is something I can do with that. I'm going to try making the 2 negative first. Negative 2 plus 5 gives me positive 3. Well, that didn't work, so I'm going to switch it. 2 plus negative 5 equals negative 3. So there's my answer. Open up my parentheses. I'm going to put my k first, some space in my n. Same thing in the other one. And I found the answer was 2 and negative 5, so plus 2n minus 5n. We're almost finished. I have to divide by my a. A in this case is 5. So I have this one divided by 5 and the second one divided by 5. Now my k is not going to change, and I need to look at just 2/5. If 2/5 can be simplified further, I have to do more work. It can't be, so I'm going to swing my 5 up to in front of this k. So I have 5k plus 2n. On the next one, I can do the k, but I have negative 5 over 5, which goes to negative 1, so I have minus 1n, or just minus n. And there's your answer. So guys, you do have a quiz on this tomorrow. I believe there are 7 questions. You need to make sure and bring your notes and study your, do get your homeworks finished. It shouldn't be a hard quiz. Good luck.